And welcome to our community of practice session for the California Early Math Initiative. We're so excited that you're here. We see that a few people are still entering our session today, so we'll probably wait another minute or so and then we'll get started. If you're here already and you have not yet added your agency name to your name in Zoom, if you would please do that. That helps us know where to send you during the breakout groups that will be organized by agency. So to do that, you hover over your own window in Zoom, your video window, and there are three little dots up in the right-hand corner that appear. And if you click on those, then you can scroll down to rename, and then you can put in your agency name as well as your own name in that box. We'll get started here in just a minute. Well, welcome everybody welcome to our community of practice number 5. Excited to be here with you all. It's great to see you. We're going to get started today with a quick enter into the chat, one of your favorite springtime activities. Here in Fresno, we've had a spat of warm weather. The trees are blossoming. There are lots of new leaves and there are lots of new activities and people are out. What is your favorite springtime activity? You have about 30 seconds to post it in the chat. No, you don't get to go do that right now, that activity. You may want to, but today, put your favorite activity in there and let's share what we love about this season. Walking in the park, lovely. Farmers markets. Yeah, this was a bad idea because this will make us want to go and do those things right now. Nobody's saying your favorite springtime activity is community of practice number 5. Yeah, there are some thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Reading on the patio, hammocks, gardening, being outdoors. Oh, hiking, gardening and biking. Lovely. There's just so much energy in all of these ideas. And yeah, fresh new start. Ah, wonderful. Well, we're excited to harness some of this springtime energy today and in our time together that we have to share around this important work that we're doing. So again, I just want to give a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking time out of what we all know are very busy schedules with lots of important work to gather here. And again, the intention of our community of practice session is to, again, highlight resources that are being designed, developed, curated, and tested through this important initiative work that we're doing together. And another reason for meeting is to, again, understand that we're all in this together and that we're implementing these ideas in our own contexts. And because of that, we know that there are unique things that we're learning. This community of practice session gives us a chance to share those things that we're learning, gives us a chance to hear from others and to gain insights across the state about how this work is being implemented, what we're learning, and really how to continue to do this important work going forward. So it's an important session. It's important because you're all here. And so I hope that you all find this to be valuable and that you also understand too that this is a time for us to collaborate. So bring your ideas, bring your questions, bring your insights, and we'll be excited to share those things together as we work together today. Just a brief overview of our session today. And if you haven't yet, would you please take some time to add your agency name to your name in your Zoom window? And again, you can do that by hovering over your window, your video window in Zoom, clicking on the top right-hand corner. There are 3 little dots. Once you click on those, you can scroll down to rename, and you can add your agency name there. Today we have some wonderful things on the agenda. We'll be hearing from Naomi in a bit about a resource highlight that's available to everybody, and also some other updates about our initiative. Then we'll be shifting into an activity called alphabet counting, and Scott and Elin from our Ames team will be facilitating an activity together with us to explore counting in probably some new ways. We'll have a brief break. After that break, we'll have on implementation. Our partners at West Ed will share some implementation updates, and then we'll get to hear from 3 agencies who have graciously volunteered to share about their implementation in their work. And that will be from LA Unified, from Reading and Beyond, and from Merced County Office of Education. So really excited to hear from these 3 groups about their implementation, on how it's gone, and what lessons are being learned that we can all gain from. We'll then go into some breakout conversations where each of you will be with your agency partners in a breakout group to reflect on your own implementation. This is sort of that pulse check. How are things going? What are you trying? What are you learning? What resources are you using? And how can we continue to support each other going forward? And then we'll have a few final updates and a closing. So to kind of get us started on some of the updates and resources, I'm going to turn it over to Naomi Reilly, who will take us into our next section. So Naomi.
Great. Before we get started with the resources, Matilda and I are going to make a quick announcement. Matilda, do you want to start?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I believe I've met most of you, but for those of you that I haven't had the privilege to meet, my name is Dr. Matilda Sorian. I'm the Senior Director of the Early Care and Education Department of the Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. We collaborate with Ames on this amazing initiative, in addition to West Ed, the Early Math Project, California Department of Education, and the State Board of Education, just to name a few of our partners. Over the past year and a half, we've been engaging in strategic planning to help us assess our work thus far and our work in the future. And as you know, we're expanding to include science and computer science, which we're super excited about. And we decided, let's take a moment to, again, assess where we've been and dream together where we'd like to be in partnership with entities and families and children and teachers across the state. To support the development of the strategic plan, we partnered with the Glenn Price Group, and they conducted surveys and interviews and focus groups with partners, again, across the state that are within the early care and education, early math, and early science fields. And many of you participated in those surveys. Thank you so much. We also partnered with Lightbox Collaborative to help us think about how best to get the word out about all the amazing resources and professional development opportunities that we offer. We wanted to make sure that our work and our messaging conveys that learning math and science is fun, and that everyone could learn math and science in a variety of settings, at home, in the classroom, in a library, even at a city park. And really, you don't have to have a math or science brain to excel in these subjects. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we do, that it covers these principles. Although we're in the process of finalizing strategies and specific activities in our strategic plan, we've actually, with all of your help and partners across the state, have a new name. And drum roll, please. It's Count Play Explore. And I'll pass it back to Naomi to provide additional details.
Great. Thank you, Matilda. Yes, so we are now Count, Play, Explore, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard us use this name. You probably have seen it on the Count, Play, Explore website, as well as some of the web-based suite materials and some other materials that the initiative and partners have created. So we will be referring to ourselves as Count, Play, Explore now. You will most likely still see formally as California Statewide Early Math Initiative. So as CAMI will for the next year kind of have that name underneath this new Count, Play, Explore name, just to remind everyone who we are. So I wanted to just share the logo just so everyone is familiar with it. This will be, this is our logo now. Represents the initiative and all its partners and all the great work that we've been doing with all of you. So you'll see this on resources and on our website. So wanted to share that, as Matilda mentioned, we are still, working on early math and early science resources as we continue to integrate early science and computer science in this next phase. And we're really excited to be able to continue to provide resources and supports in those subjects. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Matilda and myself. Like I said, you'll start seeing the name Count, Play, Explore on items if you haven't already, but we'll definitely be reminding everyone as our partnership continues. So now I'll go into the resource highlight. So I have a few different websites I want to share with everyone. So as we're talking about Count, Play, Explore, I'll start here. So this is our family engagement website, how it is set up currently. And so this resource can be used by all of you. Some of you who are part of the Family and Community Engagement Extension have seen a lot of these resources, and we've talked about how these can be used in family engagement, but a lot of these resources can also be used in the classroom, in your coaching session and professional learning sessions. And so when you go to countplayexplore.org, you'll come to this homepage that actually houses all of our videos. So when you scroll down, you can either select by age range here, or you can scroll down and find the different age ranges that we have resources for. Remember, we have resources from 0 to 8 years of age. And so in each of these age ranges, we have our videos that we've created. And so these are called the I'm Ready videos, and they're 1 to 2 minute videos that showcase families and children engaging in math and daily activities and routines. So you can actually click on them, see if it works. Okay, there we go. And then it'll bring you here and you can actually watch them. And then you can watch other ones that are in that same series, so for that same age range. On the top bar, you'll see that there's like the little three lines, one on top of the other, and that will pull down the menu. And this is where you can get to our other resources. So we have the Discovering the Math book guides that are here. You can either filter by topic by clicking that filter button and then finding a topic you want to focus on, or by scrolling down and finding the age range you want to focus on and by pressing View More. When you view more, sorry, my computer's a little slow. When you view more, it comes over here and you can actually click on the book, and then it brings you to the book guide document that is the resource for that book. Before even jumping into the resource, you can see quickly what's the story about and what topics the book guide and activities will pull on, and then also the age range for the resource. Along with the book guides, we have related activities. I know these look all like they're the same activity. Each of the little squares are different. So if you click on one, it will bring you to that activities page, and you can see what which book the activity is for and the topics that the activity is focusing on. And then you'll also see the activity instructions down here and the instructions in Spanish. And so if there's a resource that's not yet in Spanish and it's not showing the Spanish resource, it is coming. Feel free to always email me if you have questions about the timeline for a certain resource being translated to Spanish. They're all a work in progress and we're trying to get them up as soon as possible. Another great feature of this site is actually you can toggle to the Spanish site. And so you'll be able to actually see what resources are already in Spanish there. And then everything will be translated on the page, or almost everything. So that is still a work in progress. But also on the homepage, when you toggle it to Spanish, you'll be able to see the Spanish versions of the videos. Okay, so then moving on to our next resource. So this is the Early Care and Education Department site. And we have a Count, Play, Explore site recognizing some of our work done in the last couple of years. So if you're interested in seeing the evaluation reports, you can find them here, as well as our early math research briefs. These research briefs will also be integrated in those web-based suites, but they're also found here. And then those other educational resources. So we have an inventory of different external family and educator resources that might be useful to you. So you can find that document on this page. You can get to our Count, Play, Explore issues, which is just another family engagement tool. The M to the 5th early math practices. So the video guides and videos and video guides that were created during phase 1 can be found through that link. And then the professional learning resources that are posted on the AIMS website, if you press that last link. And then 2 more resources. One of them is the Count, Play, Explore online suites. This is one that Sophie and I introduced to you a few COPs ago. I think it was maybe the last one or the one before that. And so this is a temporary site where we're housing the online suite materials that the Count, Play, Explore and its partners are creating. And so these resources are the ones that you've been engaging with the last year and a half and can use in your professional learning and coaching sessions. And so when you scroll down on this page, you'll see the ones that have been posted here. And each of them, when you click on them, will bring you to that individual suite. And then if you scroll down, well, read all this information so you know how to use the resources, and any questions that you might have might be answered there. And then down here again is where all the resources are linked. So you can download the slides, the facilitator notes, and then any of the other supplemental resources. And we have divided these resources up by age. So you'll see up here the topic and then the age range. So if you scroll down, you'll see all of those. And then the last resource I wanted to show everyone or remind everyone of is this CAME resource folder. All the resources pages and this folder that I've been talking about, I will add it in an email and send that out to you all. But we have this folder that has this Excel document that outlines all resources that have been created up to now within the initiative. So when you open this up, this first page has just them all laid out on the front page. And then as you scroll here across the different pages, you can actually see materials broken up by the different topics. And there we go. And so if you come to like number and counting, you can see what's been developed so far, and then the links to that resource. And so that exists for each of these different topics. There's family engagement, different mathematical topics, and then also topics like the One Day Institute. And we'll be continuing to add to all of these as resources are created. The last resource in that folder are the interactive exhibits. So for those who are participating in the family and community engagement extension knows that we just went through our first interactive exhibit webinar with Ames. And so all of those resources will be added to these folders here. So right now we have one folder, we'll have 2 more in the next couple of months. And so you can come here and find those resources and download them and use them in your setting. Okay. So I know I threw a lot of resources your way, but I know it's sometimes confusing to kind of know where everything is at. I will send a follow-up email where all those links that I went over and kind of give a little summary of what you can find there. All of our resources are being produced in English and Spanish. The Spanish versions do take a little bit longer to produce as we're working with an external translation company. So if you need a resource and it's not yet translated in Spanish, please email me and we can work on getting that to you as soon as possible. And then, like I said, the Count, Play, Explore, the current family site that we have set up can be toggled in English and Spanish. So it's a really great resource to send to families so they can explore the early math resources at home. Okay, any questions before I jump off? Anything anyone needs to see again? Feel free to add them in the chat or take yourself off mute. If you don't have anything now, feel free to email me. Also, if you need more guidance on how to find certain resources, please let me know.
As the interactive exhibits come up, will we be getting email reminders about those?
Yes, definitely. Anytime there's a new resource for the interactive exhibits and the web-based suites, I will definitely be sending an email out to all participants. Great question. Great. Well, like I said, oh.
Can I see the first resource that you show? Just the
Definitely.
page again. Thank you.
The Count, Play, Explore site?
Yes.
So yes, this is the Count, Play, Explore site. So this is, there we go. So the 3 main resources we have here as of now are the book guides, the related activities, in the videos. And so each of these are on each of the pages for these resources. They are broken down by age, but then they can also be filtered by topic to make it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, when you click here, and then you just click on the book guide document, it will actually pull it up for you. Okay, my computer's being a little slow. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I can see you later on, but
Yeah.
I just want to see again the page. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Perfect. All right, thank you all so much. Please reach out, like I said, if you have any questions, and I will definitely follow up with all those links so they're in one email and easy to find.
Great. Thank you so much, Naomi, for the highlight. Thank you, Matilda and Naomi, for introducing the Count, Play, Explore logo and design. I think it's a wonderful way to bring together this important work. I don't know if everybody noticed, but there are different little kind of drawings in each of the 3 letters. The C for count, the P for play, the E for explore. And so I think together, all of those things kind of bring together a lot of the important themes that are really undergirding and supporting this work of playful learning, of children's natural exploration of their environments, and and of the ways that adults and other caregivers, family members can come together around important ideas in math and science and learn together in playful ways. So we think that the logo does a nice job of bringing together these important aspects of our work in a way that is fun and playful and colorful and vibrant and full of energy and hopeful optimism about what we can do together. So now we're going to shift into an activity. So hope you're ready to do some thinking together and some reflecting, some conversation and discussion. I will be turning it over to Scott and Elin, who are here in our sunroom here at Ames, who will be guiding us in the next portion of our morning, taking us up to our first break. So Scott, Elin, we'll pass it over to you guys.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Can everybody hear us okay?
Yeah,
great,
wonderfully.
awesome. So today we're going to take you through an experience with counting. We're going to do some playful counting together. So first, to think about how to remember how to count. So I'm going to show you a graphic. And I want you to see if you can find the star in this graphic. Take a few moments. Also, if you want to grab some items to count, if you have some loose objects around, it could be some pencils, pens, paper clips, whatever you have around you. So go ahead and look for the star. When you see it, if you would like to put, show me a thumbs up. If you have your camera on, you can give me a thumbs up or put a thumbs up emoji in the chat or got it.
And this isn't a trick question. There really is a star in there.
Yeah.
Like for countable items, I just happen to have a little bucket of bears, or there's some counters here.
Yeah, if you're in a classroom, if not, just, whatever. It could even be little Post-it notes. Okay, I'm seeing, got it.
Could be these guys.
Yeah, fingers. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Got it. I've seen a few thumbs up in the videos. So found it, yay. So again, this wasn't.
What should we show them?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and show.
So there's the star there.
There's the star. Is that the star everybody found? Yeah. So you may be wondering, what does this have to do with counting? Well, once we see something, it's difficult to unsee it. Just like once we learn something, it's difficult to remember what it was like not to know it. We need experts to remember what it's like to be a novice. So as educators, we need to think or remember what it's like to be a novice counting or a beginner counting. So today we're going to try to give you some experiences to help you see counting from a child's perspective. So in this session, we're going to offer you some experiences. We're going to do some reflection, and then hopefully you'll have some takeaways to think about as you work with your educators and as you work with young children. So we're going to start we're going to enter into letter world. So again, we're not going to use numbers. We're going to use the alphabet. So let's count, but we're going to we're gonna sing the alphabet song. And if you want to unmute, you're welcome to.
We can all sing together.
We can all sing together. You probably don't want to hear me sing or myself and Scott sing by ourselves. So ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs.
Next time, won't you
Sing with me. Yay, bravo.
All right, that was really hard to do there was a delay with the audio.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty good though, pretty
Yeah.
good. So remember, we have the experience that we ourselves have had the experience of counting with numbers many times. You could say we're experts. But as we go through this experience, I really want you to try to stay in alphabet world and not go back into number world. Remember, young children have not had the experience of working within a number system. They don't have anything to translate to. So to be authentic to what children experience, try your hardest not to go back into number world. Try not to think about numbers or translate. So if you hear anyone or you hear yourself using a number word, you're gonna sound the buzzer or put something in the chat. You can make the buzzer sound. You could say, no, no, no. Put an X in the chat, whatever you need to do to remind yourself or your colleagues not to go back into number world. Okay, so we're ready to do some alphabet counting?
let's do some alphabet counting.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start off simple and let's just ask in alphabet, how many fingers do you have? So as you start, just to be clear, this is not one, this is A. Okay, so how many fingers do you have? And if you want to put that in the chat.
What?
Yeah, and I should be clear, on both of your hands. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people saying J. And maybe we should do that together just to be clear. So here we go. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Right. So we've got J fingers. Okay. Ooh, somebody's already getting pretty advanced and put E times B. All right. Super. So how about and remember, no translating. So we're not like trying to go back and forth, staying strictly in alphabet world. And if you hear somebody say that old system that we're ignoring for right now, give them a buzz. How about fingers and toes combined? How many fingers and toes combined would we have? If you want to put that in alphabet in the chat.
A lot of T's.
Okay, seeing a lot of T's, good. All right, so a lot of people are saying T must be right. Okay, how about either on your fingers or maybe with some items that you have to count, could you count out a pile of J items? Count out J items, and maybe even on the screen if you want to unmute your camera, maybe just hold up that many fingers, or if you can put your camera on a pile of J items. We actually kind of just did that, didn't we? Yeah. All right, let me give you another one. How about L? What would L items be? How about L items?
I see some fingers again and eye objects.
Ooh, I see some crayons and pencils there. Uh-oh, somebody put Translation up. We're not translating. We got to stay in alphabet world only. Okay. All right. How about if we just go to the screen here? I'm going to put some collections on the screen, and oh, here's our
Oh,
advanced
it's good
learner
too.
again. Already do some addition. Okay. I'm gonna put some items on the screen, and as fast as you can, count them and let us see what you think it is in alphabet. So how many apples is that?
Seeing a lot of C's in the chat.
Okay,
C apples.
good. How about this? All right, good. So a lot of answers coming up really quick. We've got some expert alphabet counters. All right. How about these guys? How about some rubber duckies? All right.
Seeing a lot of G.
A lot
Rubber
of
duckies.
G's. I saw one F fly by. Let's all recount. Maybe let's make sure it's G. C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, it looks like G. Okay. How about, let's do some dot patterns. So I'm going to do something with the screen here that oftentimes we do with kids. I'm going to put a dot pattern on the screen, but I'm going to make it disappear kind of quickly. Okay, so let's see if we can, would this be subitizing or kind of beginning level subitizing?
Early, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, good. Seeing lots of B's. Yeah, that was B dots. Here's another one. Wow, this might be the best group of alphabet counters I've
Yeah.
ever seen. You guys are super quick. I also know that some of your organizations have already done this with some of your professional learning events. So maybe that's why you have so many experts. That's great. Here's another one.
G.
All right, good. Seeing lots of
Dots.
D's. All right. See a BD, I saw a 2-digit, oh, I'm sorry, I saw a B-digit number up there. I used the old system there for a second. Okay, how about that one? Did we already do that one? Yeah. Okay, how about, oh wait, that one already came up. Okay, how about let's do some finger patterns. Okay. Good. See lots of C's. Yeah, that was C fingers. That was this right here. Here's another finger pattern. Ooh, that was an E plus a B. E on a hand and B on the other hand. Okay, yeah, so that would be G. Nice. All right, so before we move on, let's do this. Just reflecting a little bit. So how did you get your answers to these questions? And then really the key thing to think about is what strategies were you doing that was something like you see children doing? If you either want to unmute and call out or put something in the chat. Okay, so
Using my fingers. I had to go back and say the alphabet again.
Singing the alphabet,
yeah.
good.
Totally.
Yeah, counting up. Sometimes we call that counting all. So we had to count all of everything each time. And to start each time, start over.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Any other comments or things? What are things that you were doing that you saw that you were seeing children do as they begin learning our number system?
Start with A, so going back to the beginning. Oh, thinking about patterns.
Yeah, memorizing patterns. Does everybody automatically now know what this is
In alphabet.
in alphabet? Have we subitized this finger pattern yet? Sometimes that's kind of the first one we do. I think I've done this enough now. I just know that's E. But I just now remembered that this is J.
J.
Yeah.
I'd really be great at ABC, but less
Yeah, anything
comfortable
over.
with anything over J, yes.
Right, anything
Yes.
past this. And isn't that true of
Yeah.
kids? Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen kids doing something and they get to the end and they say, I can't count anymore, I'm out of things to
Right.
count. Okay, let's do a little bit more advanced alphabet work here. Let's do some addition, okay? And again, you can keep using your fingers, or if you want to use your countable items, whatever you have out in front of you.
So we had a quick,
Oh,
what
quick
about,
question.
what about 0?
Oh, yeah, what about? Yeah, that wasn't an O, was it? That was a 0.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
Or yeah,
yeah, it's a great question, and kind of stepping out of this activity for a moment and thinking about doing this with teachers or in a professional development setting. So if you're going to do alphabet counting with a group of educators, tip number 1 is don't ever go past Z.
Mhm.
Okay, that's pretty crucial, because if you go past Z, you're out of numerals.
Mhm.
And that brings up the question, what do you do with a B-digit number? You have to introduce a 0. And so if you're going to do this, don't go past Z. Otherwise, you're going to get into an existential meltdown. So, okay. And there's other activities that you can do to introduce that 0. But yeah.
Yeah,
But good question. Very good
yeah,
question.
really good question.
Okay, so let's do some addition. All right, here we go. How about C plus A?
Oh, yeah. Then we have to
Stay in alphabet
alphabet.
land. Stay in alphabet land.
Let's see, D.
Yeah, we're not going back to number world. All right, good job. Yeah, so if this is C, then A more, then we have to go A,
Yeah,
B, C, D. Right,
yeah.
yeah, good job.
Going
Okay.
back, I have to count.
Yeah, I still have to count all sometimes. Okay, here's the next one. How about D plus C? Okay, good. Seeing a lot of G's come up. Oh, there's an F, so a little discrepancy. So I'll encourage everybody to double check.
It's okay to recount.
It's okay
in
to
alphabet.
recount, absolutely, yeah. Maybe notice too that we're not actually telling you what the correct answer is, but letting maybe the group kind of the preponderance of evidence. Somebody said,
This is really hard.
Yeah.
It is.
right. And our intention is not to make this really hard, but to give us kind of that mindset of this is what kids go through. This is
Right,
what children are
right.
going through as they learn our number system, our numeration system. Okay, how about G plus B?
And again, remember, you can use, if you have objects, you can use objects to help you add. Okay.
Okay, seeing a lot of I's. Oh, we see a J.
J.
Might encourage everybody to recount, double check. Lots of I's though. Let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then I know that B is that many more. I almost said a number. And I would have to, let's see, I could count on from E, so E, F, G, H, I. So yeah, I think it's I. Good. All right. So let's go back to these questions. So how did you solve it? Why did you solve it that way? And then again, what were strategies that you did that were something like you've seen children do? So if you want to put some ideas in the chat, or again, you can unmute.
Start at the bigger letter and count on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so counting on is a
If you have
a big strategy.
Use my fingers to count on. Made an alphabet number line.
Oh, so we make an
Yeah.
alphabet number line, right? I mean, technically, that's just an alphabet line, right?
Yeah.
Well, somebody put they translated. It's kind of a party foul, but we'll allow it a little bit.
So I see a lot of using fingers.
Uh-huh. Age 11. Thinking A, B in my head, yeah. Good.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Is anybody using like just a pile of items other than just fingers? Well, a quick little thumbs up. Oh, pens, he's
Pens.
using pens, good.
Using objects, but still got confused.
Mhm. Paper clips, good, okay, yeah. Link clips, all right, good. All right. Are you ready for the next step? How about, let's do some subtraction. Ooh. All right, here we go. I minus D, or I take away D. How are we gonna do this? Uh-oh. No numbers. Stay in alphabet world. And again, not trying to be picky or mean, but remembering that we're really trying to have the same experience that children have, and they do not
Right.
have anything to translate into. So we're really trying to put ourselves in the
And
shoes
a-
of
yeah,
children.
learner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I saw a lot of D's. Let's see, A, B, C,
A lot of
D.
ease.
I mean E's, yeah, A, B, C,
Uh-huh.
D, E, F, G, H, I. And then take away D. I know that's D, so if I took that away, this is left, yeah, so that would be,
Right.
that would be E.
Another comment I noticed, or I just said, I'm glad somebody shared making an alphabet line. I needed that here, or need to hear that, and that speaks to, giving students the opportunity to share how they're solving problems, because a lot of times they might, that collaborative learning helps others either validate what other students are using, how they're solving it, or might give them some ideas on how to solve that problem. Or, validate, oh, I had to start back from the beginning too, or it was helpful for me to make a alphabet line. So again, very helpful, or to give children the opportunity to share how they're solving.
Yeah, it's always good just to take the teacher away from being the holder of all knowledge, right? Kids hold so much knowledge. Okay, here we go. Tough one.
Ooh.
Q minus H. Q minus H. Wow, we got some quick answers here. All right.
F.
And the funny thing is, Siri can't even help us out with these kind of problems, right? Q minus H. Seeing lots of eyes, are those eyes? My
I think
eyes,
so.
my eyes are old. Okay. So we've seen a number of answers, but I want to give everybody a chance to really work this out. So I seems to be the consensus. Maybe if you want to put an I or just a thumbs up when you agree. Okay, somebody's gotten a J, and that's okay. It's all right to get a dissenting answer. It kind of causes everybody to reflect on, am I sure? It's interesting also thinking about that, the alphabet number line. Often kids will see, where do we start counting? Do we count the one we're on, or do we count the one after we move once?
Mhm.
And that can give you a different answer. A lot of kids struggle with that.
Yeah,
If you're seeing subtraction as a counting backwards kind of process.
right. There was a comment, finding it easier to do with manipulatives, which is true. And how many times, or so do we maybe not give students objects to work with, or we forget that this is actually a very abstract concept.
Extremely
And
abstract,
so either letting them draw or using objects to count is almost a necessity.
Yeah.
And giving them those experiences to help them understand the concept of subtracting, of adding.
Shout out to our Spanish speakers too, though, because
Yeah.
these in Spanish are hermanos, right? And manos is where we get the word manipulatives. We literally need to get our hands on stuff. So, all right. How about just a couple more? Okay, that's enough of the torture, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. So, how did this feel for you? And what might be some implications for how children feel when learning to count? So let's kind of just do some self-reflecting here. So Mary says frustrating. I'd like to maybe just ask a follow-up question. What was frustrating about it? Was it how fast we were going? Was it we were moving too quickly? Was it sometimes I remember being an early math learner, being frustrated that other people seemed to get the answers and I didn't have the answer yet, and that frustrated me.
yes, yeah. Definitely.
Feeling timed. Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
It's a second. Not being able to use numbers.
Mhm. But again, remember,
Yeah,
children don't have
right.
a number system to fall back on. They have nothing to translate to. Good comments. And to be clear, too, this is a good activity to do with educators. I would never do this with students. I
Right,
would never
right.
do this with young children. Yeah, this really is just to give educators that childlike experience again. Like you need to practice counting. Yeah, more just counting,
Yeah.
right? Counting in letters,
Um,
counting collections.
somebody commented, I thought I was good at math, but after playing this game, I realized I'm not as good as I thought. Well, I'd like to say maybe you're not as good as alphabet counting yet as you think, but remember, we wanted you to give you this experience to put you in the shoes of a learner, to think about what children go through when they're learning our number system or a number system, and how things that we think, oh, that should be so simple, you know. It's because we are so removed from it and have had so many experiences. Think about how many times you experience numbers in your everyday life. Many experiences. So I bet if if this is your initial experience with alphabet counting over the course of 50 years, you would be an expert.
Right.
Or beginning to be an expert. I don't claim to be an expert in with math. I think we're all learners.
Yeah, Angelica
yeah.
just said, it takes me back to being in first grade and she was a second language learner. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up because think about second language learners, that's now compounded. So really taking those feelings and really intensifying them to try to move back and forth between a number system in two different languages. Yeah, powerful comment, thank you.
I like that somebody said it was fun because
Yay.
it is fun. I mean, math is fun. It
Right.
is, yeah.
So maybe as a closing question, how might this affect the ways you engage children as they learn to count and to add and subtract? And sorry, we do have one more question after this. So how might this affect going through this experience? So as you engage with children, as they learn to count and add and subtract, be more compassionate. Thank you. Patience. Let them practice, be encouraging, good.
Yeah.
Good, a lot of patience. Yeah,
Lots of opportunities for counting before we introduce addition and subtraction.
Yeah, repetition, saw the word repetition in there. Meeting learners where they're at, good.
Providing meaningful visuals, like say a number line or not number line, alphabet line, or having them create. Meeting learners where they are, yes, definitely.
Plenty of time, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And maybe our final question is thinking about the Count, Play, Explore, the CAMI, program as we do our professional learning events. So how much you use this activity in your professional learning sessions with educators? And maybe even how would you do it the same way we've done it, or maybe differently? Like I already feel like we could have done it differently. We could have slowed down a whole lot this morning, I think, giving people more time, less frustration. Yeah, follow the same process. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And these slides and the outline is available. Am I correct about that?
I think it's
Or
it's in the process of being developed. So this is a prototype.
It's a learning journey,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That doesn't, you're right, it doesn't happen overnight.
Where can we find the shape picture? We use the, if you're referring to the star, that'll be in the materials we send out. And there's also nothing magic about that particular picture. Actually, if you do a Google search for once you see it, you can't unsee it, there'll be a million pictures that come up and you could use any
Right.
one of those images. Disclaimer, as with any Google image search, be careful. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right, well, we're right at 10 o'clock and that's kind of our time for now, but thank you everybody for engaging and take a
Yes,
big
thank
deep
you.
breath and you can now use numbers again. All right. So Paul, we'll throw it kind of back to you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Elin. And just to remind everybody that this activity as a resource will be made available to you all. As you know, we are currently in the process of developing online suites with resources that you can take and use and modify in your own context. So this entire kind of activity will be a part of that process and part of those resources. So you'll have access to this along with other ideas for how to work with educators to provide a similar kind of experience where they can again experience what it's like to learn something new, to not rely on prior knowledge, but to sort of try to be in a new world and in a new experience with the intention that it will assist educators in better attending to the learning trajectory and the learning processes that young children go through as they encounter these things for the first time. So I really like, Elin, what you said at the beginning about becoming a novice again, becoming a beginner again, and thinking about what it's like to learn something new for the first time can not only create empathy in educators for the learners they work with, but it can also help us remember the strategies, the tools, the resources that were helpful in that process, whether it was an alphabet line or things to count or a partner, a friend, somebody else to count with, somebody to chant with together as we count together. So I know you're all just waiting to hear that recorded alphabet song that we all sang together. So we're going to send that to the producer, make sure it gets mixed properly with the levels, and then maybe you can find it on Spotify next time. We're going to take a break at this point. I would encourage you during the break to get up, to stretch, to get something to eat. Maybe if you're with other people, you can even reflect a little bit together on how this activity felt to you and kind of what you're thinking about now. We'll come back in about 10 minutes around 10:12. I was going to try to say that in alphabet counting, but I gave up. All right, everybody, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a nice break. We're going to continue with our session this morning by handing over to our partners at West Ed, who will be helping us to focus a bit on implementation. So I will turn it over to our West Ed partners.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My colleague Amy is assisting me with sharing some slides that I have prepared. And first off, I want to thank you all for continuing to submit your implementation logs for your professional learning and coaching sessions. It is great. It's been great to see all the wonderful work that you are all doing within your agencies. And from the logs that you have submitted, our team at WestEd has been able to summarize this data into a dashboard that is updated in an ongoing way as you continue to submit these logs, and it helps us and our CPE partners have a bigger picture understanding of the early math efforts across your agencies. And so today I will present just a few of the data points from this dashboard in the form of screenshots as I share, I invite you all to share in the chat any thoughts or reactions as I present to you the findings. So next slide. So first off, at a glance, to summarize the logs that you've submitted so far, 20 out of 25 agencies have completed at least one log for your professional learning sessions. And across these 20 agencies, 47 professional learning sessions have been conducted over 111 hours, training hours. And across your first PL sessions combined, almost 1,000 educators or 902 educators in center-based programs, FCC providers, and or elementary school educators have been engaged so far. And this, of course, number is likely to go up as you continue to log more sessions. And this, again, is for the first PL and doesn't include any additional participants engaged in sessions or coaching sessions. Among these educators and providers, they come from 200 and 310 different early learning and care sites or elementary schools. And so just looking at these numbers, you can see already the reach that your activities and your sessions are having across the state of California.
I think we may have lost Melina, but I can pick up. Can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. Um, on that first slide, we wanted you to just get a sense of you're each doing such impactful work in your communities, but you are definitely part of this bigger movement and really having that reach across the state. And so in your professional learning sessions on the next slide, this is just an overview of the kinds of math areas that your agencies are covering all together. So we see many of you are focused on number and counting and geometry and spatial thinking across your professional learning sessions. And then what's been exciting over the past several months is we've been watching these numbers grow as you all enter more and more logs. But we're also starting to see greater percentages of y'all focusing on the operations and algebraic thinking, the measurement and data, and the more specific areas for the early elementary grades in the number and operations, in base 10 and fractions. And then the kinds of work that you're focused on within these math areas on the next slide. It's an overview of the kinds of goals you're hoping to accomplish in these professional learning sessions. So almost all of you are hoping to strengthen teaching practices of the educators that you're working with. And some of the specific ways you're doing that are by increasing opportunities for play-based learning, as well as hands-on learning. Then we see, again, it's smaller percentages, but still half are focused on those positive math mindsets or building educators' knowledge of how children develop and learn in early math, and really ensuring we're being inclusive of opportunities for children from diverse backgrounds. So we just wanted to kind of share a little bit of this overview of across the agencies, what we're seeing as some of the patterns and trends in the areas that you all are focusing on. If anyone wants to share in the chat kind of any thoughts or reactions or things you notice in this data, I'll keep my eye on the chat. So we wanted to share this back with you and also invite you to continue submitting those implementation logs for both your professional learning and your coaching. We're using these and referencing these with our partners to help them understand what you all are focusing on and how we can better support you. And then I know Melina has also shared with any agency who has submitted at least one log, the dynamic view where we can share back your own data with you. So if you need that for reporting purposes in your agency, or just if you want to check what you've logged already, we can share with you your individual data so you can use it as well.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Are you
Sorry,
back, Melina? Okay.
Yeah, I got kicked out.
No worries. Let me know if there's anything else you wanted to announce, but I pick up where you left off.
No, that was thank you for the taking over. But yes, as Jennifer mentioned, if you need support in any way, and Amy, you can go to the next slide, there's my contact information. If you need support in any way in completing your logs, please feel free to reach out, and there's my email. And as Jennifer mentioned, I did email many of you about that dynamic view option. And not only can you see the data you've submitted, because I know you are all doing a lot of work, and so it sort of helps keep track of what you have already done, and you can also export the data for your own purposes, and it's only the data that you and your agency team members have completed, and so you'll only see the data within your own agency. And there's also a comment feature on there where if there's a mistake or errors in your reporting, which naturally can happen, then you're able to make a comment and I can go and correct anything. And so, yeah, again, I encourage you all to continue submitting those and exploring that dynamic view feature, and do not hesitate to reach out if you do need additional support. And I think Liz was going to go next in giving some updates about the upcoming educator survey.
Great. Yes, thanks, Melina. So I'm just going to give you an overview of something that is coming your way. Can you all see this slide that says educator survey? Okay, perfect. So like Melina mentioned, as you're submitting those logs, you may have noticed there's a question in there that asks when your professional learnings are ending. And one purpose of you saying that is helping us figure out when to share this next educator survey with you. So we're planning an educator survey where the purpose of it is really to examine how educators' participation in your local professional learning and coaching really impacts their math mindsets, knowledge, and skills, among some other areas. So we're asking for your partnership in this to work with the educators at your agency who have participated in at least one professional learning or coaching session. They don't have to do coaching, but at least one professional learning session at your agency. And that can include teachers, family child care providers, other sorts of early interventionists, and home visitors. And as a nice thank you for filling it out, we're providing educators with $5 after they have filled out one of these surveys. And like I mentioned, the survey will cover a couple of different content areas. So we're going to ask about their mindsets and their knowledge around math, and we're going to ask them to reflect how that was before and then after, a little bit about their experiences in their professional learning and coaching at your agency, and then some about how this has all impacted their early math teaching practices. And as we're communicating with you, I will likely reach out to you, or Naomi may reach out to you, introducing me over email. And I'll provide you with an email that you can forward to your educators that has a description of the survey, a link to the survey, and includes all that information that I just shared with you. And I'll also share with you a PowerPoint slide. So if you have a professional learning upcoming and it's your last one, you can add this PowerPoint slide that has a little tidbit about the survey, a link to it, so that educators can see it right there and then, and go ahead and fill that out after they've completed their professional learnings at your agencies. So you can expect to hear from me as you all are wrapping up your professional learning sessions. And if there are any questions, feel free to add that in the chat. And I see Jennifer, yes, like those of you who joined our working group in January, we incorporated all of your feedback into the educator survey, and that was very helpful as we worked on a final version of this. Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, partners at WestEd, for helping us to really get that overall understanding of what sessions are being focused on and the big ideas and big concepts across that dashboard is helpful to see. And again, yes, thank you to everybody for participating in these sessions and helping us to think about ways to measure what's happening and also plan for the future here. It was great to see such a great emphasis on teaching practices, play-based learning, hands-on learning across those sessions, great themes that are woven throughout this work. So we're going to take some time now to hear a bit more in depth from a few of our organizations, a few agencies who are joining us in this initiative, who have been doing some fantastic work. We are going to hear from LA USD, Reading and Beyond, and Merced County Office of Education. In particular, these agencies will be sharing with us a report that sort of focuses on what they have implemented so far in the initiative, who their audience was, what resources they used, how participants engaged and respond, what their own learnings were, and what further supports, if any, could they use going forward. So I just want to thank these organizations for preparing to share with us, for being willing to do that today. And so I will turn it over to our colleagues at LAUSD. So the floor is yours. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Paul. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then Jessica will go ahead and start.
Hello, everyone. As Imelda mentioned, we are from LAUSD, and we wanted to share how we changed a little bit. So in the beginning, the first round of CAMI, we had 2 directors with us, and they have remained. And then it was me and Imelda as teachers. We worked with the 20 participants, so we did 2 regions. We did East and Central. And if you're familiar with LA, you know that we are a big district. It's a lot of, we cover a lot of land, basically. And so we just worked with 2 areas. From there, COVID hit, and we still had a lot of our funds still left. So we moved on to supporting through Zoom with 150 participants, and we did 3 sessions in order for us to use all our funds. For this round, we still have our same 2 directors. Ever since then, Imelda and myself did become principals. So we're limited on our time of how we could provide training for staff. So what we did is this time we went ahead and we gathered 5 teachers from all over the district to support us in our PD. So we trained them, and then they help us do the trainings. Since we wanted to include a lot more participants, we actually worked on getting to locations. So our first session, we had it in the Valley, and then we had one in East Los Angeles. Like I mentioned, we cover a big area. So we had 90 participants in each session. So that is, in total, we have 87 early ed centers. So we asked 2 participants to join us from each center. And then Imelda's going to go a little bit into what the learning was, the topics that we covered. And the next slides.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm sorry if in my background it sounds, I'm having construction at my site, so you might hear a little background noise. So our foundation for our professional learning session were the N5 framework. We went ahead and of course we let participants know, because we have a lot of new participants that were not with us in the first phase. We'll let them know about our partnership with the AIM Center and Wested. And we also tied it into our LAUSD strategic plan, which is pillar number 1, high quality instruction. And then we focus on academic excellence, and pillar number 5 within professional learning, which is investing in staff. These were our achievement-based objectives that we told participants that by the end of the professional learning session, they would go ahead and number 1, explore on mathematic identities and the ways that these shape through our experiences. Number 2, gain an understanding of the M5 framework, early math practices and how they can be applied to curriculum concepts. And number 3, shared commitments to moving forward with perspectives that broaden notions of participation in mathematics. So we really wanted to tie our objectives to things that were relevant to the current situation that our teachers have. We went ahead and used the developmental progression of number concepts as a segue to help teachers understand that there is a progression. Of course, it might not happen in this order for all students, but we wanted to give them a little understanding as to how our children become to understand number concepts. So all the participants received this handout and they partnered up, they discussed it in small groups. And we went ahead and we did use alphabet counting, just like we did this morning, but we took it a little slower and we did it in a little more simpler way with our teachers because Jessica and I, as well as the rest of the CAMI team, were still practicing our alphabet counting. So we did ask participants to, think about what they remember about the way that they learn how to count. And we actually had Scott Nielsen help us out, and we did a little practicing before we introduced it to our participants. So we used some of the similar slides, which were very helpful. And these were the, let me see, there you go. We went ahead and we used alphabet counting with addition. So what we did is that we asked participants to partner up and they had to solve these addition problems with their partners. And I do have to say that, it was challenging and they did express that, but at the same time, you can see that they were having fun. And it did make those connections as everybody else was talking about earlier in terms of how we are becoming a little more compassionate and giving our students a little more grace, especially our English language learners, because, sometimes we need to give them that time to process anytime we're presenting number concepts. So this is a really great activity. Then we went ahead and we introduced the M5 framework. And what we did is we used the website videos, which really helped us to introduce each component. So every time we introduced a video, we stopped and then reflected and debriefed with participants. And they did this in small groups. And we asked them to tie it into their current work that they're doing with students in the classroom. So helping them to see how this can roll out in their classrooms. And a lot of them were able to identify that they're already introducing some of the components, just that, they haven't had that opportunity to reflect on it or do those observations. So this was really helpful as they were watching the videos. And of course, we tied it into our LAUSD core documents as well. We use the preschool learning foundations and we have creative curriculum. And we invited them to use the AIMS activity graphic organizer. Just as a quick check-in to make sure that, a checking for understanding, to make sure that they understood how these tools can be used in their lesson planning and also to differentiate for a lot of their students. What they really appreciated was the section for potential behaviors as an observational piece, because sometimes it does help into going into that professional noticing, and also the questions and the prompts, because a lot of times when we're doing planning as teachers, we, everything goes great, but then the day of implementation, you never know with our kiddos, it might go a whole different way. So this really helped them to brainstorm and to realize that, there are certain pieces that, we can go ahead and reflect on and organize our ideas, but then we can also go back and check and use this also as a debrief component, not only as a planning component.
And I just want to add that it did help the simplicity of the form to support with the assistants in the class. So it gives the breakdown so the assistants could lend support to the teachers inside the classrooms.
Definitely. Thank you, Jessica. And then these were the instructions that were given. So we did ask them to use the instructional tools, which were the preschool foundations, the M5 framework, and also use our intentional teaching cards that we use for creative curriculum. and they were working with table partners. They were filling in the graphic organizers and then just using strategies as they relate to their current classroom needs. So we really wanted to emphasize that by using the M5 framework in connection to the tools that we already provide, we want them to individualize learning for students. And that was one of our main objectives as well. And then we went ahead and we did the fishbowl activity stations, and they had a lot of fun with that as well. And it was a good opportunity for them to really get that feeling of how our students in the learning areas in the classrooms, every time we facilitate, different activities, how do they feel or how relevant are these to our students? So we had a station with Unifix cubes, another one with cup towers, and we had one where we had different reading books, so they can do a math read aloud and also counting collection. These are a couple of pictures of how participants were engaged. As you can see, they were building with the cup towers, and we also had open-ended questions available so that it can be facilitated within each activity. So they're the cup towers, and you see the counting collections, and then you see how teachers are using the tools to fill up their graphic organizer.
Just simple materials that can be found inside the classrooms.
And that's the idea, we really want teachers to know that, yes, we're planning, but also let's use the resources that we already have available. And then also, how much are these resources that we have in the classroom, how relevant are they to our current student population? Every year is different, so we always try to let teachers know that we have to really individualize our activities and make sure that we're really paying attention to how our students are learning and how else can we support them, because we're not going to support all students in the same way. So this was a really good activity. And also, again, like Jessica said, with the graphic organizer, it really simplified the lesson planning and the idea of differentiation. And as a reflection piece, after they did all the fishbowl activity stations, we did ask them to reflect on these two questions. And, we said, what were some common elements in the materials and activities that you experienced, and what materials can you use or adapt for your work, and other materials you would include. So in this piece, we did hear a lot of our participants did express that, they had not noticed how many things in the classroom they have available that they can use in different ways, or materials that they can implement or integrate from home, and invite students to bring those pieces from home, because in that way it becomes a lot more relevant for the instruction in the classroom and in the learning areas. And then we also invite participants not only from the current CAMI phase, but also from the CAMI phase, the very first CAMI phase we had. We still have an ongoing Schoology page, and this is a platform that LAUSD uses as a learning tool for teachers. So teachers have access to this. There's resources in there that the CAMI team post. There's also a lot of videos and resources teachers want to share. Any learning, sometimes they might post a question. So it's an ongoing, we've had it for almost, I want to say 3 years, Jessica, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. And in there, we just post all the resources that we used so that teachers could take back the learning for the rest of the teachers at their own sites.
And this is really good because sometimes, we had a couple of participants that might not want to ask those questions in front of everybody. So it's a really nice platform that, gives you that access in case, you don't feel too confident, and you can just go ahead and post your question or ask or see other resources, or sometimes, sharing those lesson activities that maybe other colleagues have. So it's a really, really nice platform that the CAMI team has put together. And then now Jessica will go ahead and she is going to share just insights that were gained through our feedback survey.
So at the end, we provided our participants with a feedback survey. And basically what our teachers want from us is just more hands-on activities. They want to know more hands-on activities. They want to know what activities they could take to their classroom and implement immediately. So we have our training on Saturday. By Monday, they want to start using them inside the classroom. They also want the use of open-ended questions, and then how they continue the learning by differentiating activities. So they're already doing engaging activities, how can they continue that learning? So they want that information from us.
And in terms of, just moving forward, what future support we may need, the CAMI team, we decided that we want to continue debriefing with, just AIMS coaches, for example, with Scott Nielsen and Beverly, have been really helpful and very supportive. So I know that the CAMI team really appreciates, our debriefs. And of course, when we had our alphabet counting session with Scott, it was great. So we just want to continue that. That's been a really powerful resource for all the learning that we're providing to our teachers. And I think that is about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for sharing. Wow, it feels like you've pulled so many meaningful aspects of this work together, from adult learning with alphabet counting to the M5, to sort of really being very intentional about connecting to the existing resources, the tools in the classrooms, the foundations, even the alignment with your own strategic plan and those pillars, finding a way to really communicate that this work can be really embedded in the things that are already happening and can really be used to sort of support and supplement that in really powerful ways. I want to pause here for a couple minutes. If there's some questions that anybody would want to pose to Jessica or to Melda here, let's take a moment to just ask some questions or any comments that the group has.
I had a question. Imelda, you mentioned a platform for the resources for the teachers. What platform do you use when you use, because it sounds like you have a broad distribution to distribute resources in. So we were wondering what platform you were using.
So it's called Schoology. And our district uses Schoology as a platform for just different, so we have groups or courses from different divisions. So our division created a CAMI platform, and it kind of works like social media.
Yeah.
But it's internal, just within our district.
Oh, okay.
And
It's an internal platform.
and
Okay.
if you Google it on Schoology, I know other districts use it as well. So if you Google Schoology, it shows you what the platform entails. It's just that our district has that specific platform for our district to use. But it's used in many formats. It's used by various schools, various divisions. So it's a really nice platform. I mean, it's worked really well for us. And the stuff stays there. You can create folders, you can add pictures, videos, links.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, well, if you do think of things, feel free to post them in the chat. There'll be some opportunities in just a bit to discuss these insights further and lessons learned from these various teams. So, so collect your questions or thoughts as we continue. We're going to hear next from Reading and Beyond. So we'll turn it over to our team from Reading and Beyond. Eric, are you going to be starting?
Yes, that would be me.
Okay.
Hello. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Erica Chavez, and I'm the after-school program coordinator here with Reading and Beyond, as well as a sub-preschool teacher. And my team members are Shannon Birch and Jasmine Grijalva. I will share my screen right now. Let me see if I can. Okay. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Where is it? Which? Okay, sure. Can you see it now?
No.
Oh, no. Let me go back. Okay. Where is it? Okay. I'm trying to share. I don't know where is it.
No worries. If it is a presentation, you can
Yes.
also send it, or try putting a link to it. You could send it to me. I can share from on this side, and if you want to get started, we could try it that way. Oh,
It
I
should be
think we,
one.
yeah, there it is.
Oops.
Congrats. Not an easy thing to be on the spot with 65 people watching for you.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Okay, so we did do a training on January 27th, and this was for our staff, and we did geometry and sorting. And I will have Miss Jasmine present our second slide, which was our goals. Do you want to go ahead, Miss Jasmine? Or would you like me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Jasmine Para. I'm the site supervisor at one of our preschools here for Reading and Beyond. Our goals for this was to help children. Sorry, let me move my screen around a little bit. I can't see it. Our goal was to help children build children's cognitive development by encouraging teachers to utilize engaging math-related activities on our day-to-day routines.
And we did this by having some 8 stations, which is the classroom. We wanted it to look like the classroom. So the 8 stations each had a math activity.
Yeah. So what we did was, because we do have 2 preschools, and then we also had the after school volunteers come and join us as well. And that gave us a really good opportunity to be able to socialize with each other, to engage with each other, and also learn from each other. We set up 8 stations for this activity in our auditorium here at the Mosquito Center, located here at my center. So we utilized the big, auditorium to do this. We set up 8 tables, and what we wanted to do was utilize the things that we use in the classroom for each area in the classroom. So like, for example, for the block area, we set up some pyramid blocks in what you could see in the last slide to your right. And we also set up stuff for the science area, which we did bug sorting. For the math area, we had pegboards. For the writing area, we had magnetic tracing numbers. For our library, we had math-related storybooks. For the art area, we had collaging with different colored shapes in different sizes as well. For the manipulative area, we had Legos in different sizes and magnetic cubes. And for our playhouse area, we had ice cream store themed stackers. Yeah, they stack and they have numbers, and they can stack the ice cream on top of a cone according to the number. So we wanted to make sure that we implemented each area, but with math related things in there, so that the teachers could see how we can utilize the items in each area when it's, of course, regarding to math.
And as the teachers were doing these activities, we were asking them just like, how would you use these activities with the children in your work? What 2 open-ended questions can you ask the children with these activities? How can you teach these activities to the parents, families to use them at home? Or like, what can you add to this activity?
Yeah, and in the beginning, to help us, Erica had a wonderful idea with M&Ms. So that everybody just didn't kind of link up together from their own school. She purchased M&Ms. We set them in front of the teachers and said, okay, get a color, but don't eat it. And so, according to the color, okay, if you have a red M&M, go to this table. So it kind of helped combine all the staff together, so they all were able to engage together as well.
And our audience was mainly preschool teachers and K through 6th grade tutors that day.
Yes,
We had 15 preschool teachers, including ourselves, and we had 5 after-school volunteers.
And this was also helpful in creating, that to work together, to work as a team, learn to work as a team in the classroom as well, and help support the students there. The resources that we did use were Play for Learning 0 to 8 link for ideas on what to use, utilizing the supplies we already had in the classroom, and learning a little more about these resources that are available.
The participants had fun and were engaged in the activities, sharing ideas and learning from each other. And it was really interesting how they utilized some of the materials in different ways. They were engaging and socializing with each other, giving each other ideas that they can also take back to their own schools.
What we learned was that the staff do prefer to do more hands-on interactive trainings. They like playing with the activities, feeling like they're a child, and getting at the level of the students, seeing that children do learn better when they're playing. And this is what we try to teach them. Anything else, Miss Jasmine or Shannon?
They actually liked this training so much that they wanted us to train them on some different subjects as well. So that was good.
Yeah, some reflection from my staff too is they never thought to use some of these materials in the area and even ask the questions. And after they utilized some of the resources from this training, I noticed a difference in the binders and observations. They started booming, and we had more of an increase of interactions and anecdotals being conducted in the classroom. So it was a great experience for the staff, and they also said the same, that they wanted more trainings conducted by us too as well. So thank you for the resources.
I think for basic.
I'm sorry. And then what further support could we use going forward? I feel like just getting a little more knowledge, getting into the resources you guys have available. And I did go into those resources, and you utilize those for our just past math engagement night, which was on the 15th of this month. And that's it for us. Any questions?
Yes, please, if there are any questions or comments, yeah, just such a great impact in playful learning. It seems like you had that. You're going to be busy, I'm sure, with all of the additional trainings that are being asked for. But I think it's an interesting kind of a what a wonderful result to have educators who are wanting more of that kind of interactive training where they can, again, experience what it's like to have a playful learning environment and then be inspired to take that into their classrooms and into their noticing. Yeah, really wonderful. Any other comments or questions from our group for our Reading and Beyond team? Okay. Well, if you do have any further questions or comments, please post them in the chat. We'll continue. Our final group today that we'll be sharing is our Merced County Office of Education. We'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Paul. My name's Mary Childry, and I'll speak on behalf of our agency. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This so I can see it. All right, so just going to highlight some of the activities that we did over the course of this year so far. All right, so overall, our overarching objectives that we wanted to present to our educators here in Merced County and Mariposa County, we really wanted everyone to explore their mindsets around mathematics. We wanted them to realize that math is everywhere and to take advantage and capitalize on those everyday moments to mathematize the world, and to connect mathematics to early literacy. And we had our first professional learning session in December, on December 5th. It was Shapes in Spatial Reasoning, and this session was in person. It was presented both in English and also in Spanish. I have pictures that I'll show at the end of this the presentation. And as incentives, we gave out mirrored cardstock, pattern blocks, and they also got the book A Pair of Socks. In the session, we wanted it to be very meaningful and hands-on, so they got to engage, much like our one-day event that we had in the fall, engaging with space, shapes on that mirrored cardstock, and all in attendance really enjoyed exploring that. They were very excited to add something new that they could take back to present in their programs. And then in February, we conducted a Zoom session on number sense. It allowed us to be able to invite folks who may not be able to attend in person for various reasons, possibly distance, or their schedule didn't allow it to attend in person. So we wanted to have an option on Zoom as well. So we did our number sense session on Zoom. And to make it engaging, we utilized some of the strategies that were modeled for us. We had folks go in their environment wherever they were and find things to count as like an icebreaker for that session. People got to explore and count, and people came up with some very creative ways, items to count, because we had teaching staff and centers, we had FFN providers, and we also had family childcare providers. Our family childcare providers, it was very easy because their program is in their home, so they were able to find stuff very easy. Those who worked in centers were a little bit more challenging, so they were counting their bills and their mail and very random things, but it was still fun, lots of laughs, what people discovered to count. It's definitely more challenging to keep folks engaged on Zoom and for it to be hands-on, but we found creative ways and we had a good time on Zoom despite that challenge. Our last professional learning session that we just had this week on Tuesday. We were back in person and we got to use the Lego win card activity that was shared with us. And the session was on measurement. So it was very playful. Something we learned about our early educators is they're very creative and competitive with one another. And they got to engage in discussions around measurement, how we do that, what that looks like with children, untraditional ways to conduct measurement, thinking of not just length and height, but also capacity of weight and liquids and things like that. They really enjoyed creating their Lego cars and having races, seeing how far they could go, which ones went faster, which ones didn't work out and why, what they did to tweak their car to help it go farther or to be successful, things of that nature. So it was a very fun opportunity for folks. And then for our coaching sessions, we set it up for our professional learning sessions to be connected to a coaching session. So everybody who attended the professional learning session was invited back to a coaching session the week after. And at each learning session, we had everyone intentionally plan for what they would take back to their respective programs to implement with children based on the topic, whether it was shapes and spatial reasoning, number sense, or measurement. Each session had a specific topic and focus, so they would take that activity into their programs, implement it, and then meet back up with us a week later via Zoom to discuss how that activity went. So they would intentionally practice something over that week and come back together. We would do a brief review, and we did it in a group setting on Zoom. We would do a brief recap, and we would share a video related to that topic from the M5 videos, the Count, Play, Explore. We would find a additional video that matched the topic that we shared. And then we would break in. We're fortunate here in Merced County. We have 4 facilitators participating in the CAMI project. So we had 2 for English, 2 for Spanish. So in those sessions, if the groups were big enough, we would break into 2 breakout rooms. So everyone would have an opportunity to share how their activity went, what went well, what they noticed in the children, what they did to prepare, what they might change. And then folks were allowed to ask questions. And we were pleasantly surprised, especially after our number sense professional learning session. We really dove into the websites, the Early Math Project and the Count, Play, Explore, and many of the participants really took a deeper dive into those websites and presented on activities that we didn't intentionally focus on, but they were related to number sense that they found on their own by digging through those resources. So we were very excited that people were taking advantage of the free resource that's available to them. It's like, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's activities and ideas out there. Use them, steal them, borrow them, whatever you want to call it, with the kids that they work with. So they were very excited about that resource. We'll have our last coaching session next week, following up on measurement. So we're excited to see what folks will come up with, either an activity that we implemented in the session, or if they utilize the website resources again to find additional activities that they might implement with the children. And we set it up so they would get a total of 4 hours of PD. So they would get we did the professional learning sessions were 2 hours each. They would get 1 hour of professional development for implementing their activity, and then 1 hour for attending the Zoom coaching session. So they could get a total of 4 hours of professional development if they completed all components. And thankfully, most, not quite 100%, but most people completed all the steps to get their 4 hours. So we were excited about that. And here's a few pictures from the shapes and spatial reasoning session. You'll see there on the right-hand side how we set it up. We emulated what was modeled for us, and they were very excited. They felt like they were at a party getting a gift bag that they got to take with them after the session that set them up. And then you'll see on the left-hand side them engaging in the activities during the session. And then from last week's training, here's a few pictures from our sessions. The one in the upper left corner there, you'll see some folks with the book. We also implemented a book in that session on actual size, and we provided them with the book guide. And during that session, they were able to come up with a book activity related to that book, and then do a share out. In the Spanish session, they actually role played and acted as if they were doing it with children. So that was exciting. We didn't get to do that in the English session. We ran out of time, but it was exciting hearing about the experience in the Spanish session, and then also seeing pictures of it as well. And then there you'll see the pictures of folks creating their Lego wind cars, and then pictures of some of the finished products, some of the races that took place. And you'll notice, if you might notice, you'll see one is on the shiny floor that's more of like a linoleum versus one that's on carpet. The carpet was presented a challenge because the carpet's rough, so the cars were going haywire, some were tipping over, or they were very slow. So it was interesting to experiment with the different textures of flooring on how that affected their wind cars. Going faster on the linoleum or up on the tables or on the carpet. That was fun. Also reflecting on the tweaks that they made to help their car go, experimenting with, let's turn the fan off and then turn the fan on, so everybody can start at the same time, versus just setting your car down right in front of the wind and it just tips over because it's too much force all at once. So a lot of fun and exploration. The participants were very excited about this activity. It was so cute. In the English session, they even clapped. They were very excited about the learning that took place and the hands-on activities. That's definitely something that we learned. We knew from past feedback surveys, but this one too, the educators was sentimented from the other 2 counties that shared. They definitely like those hands-on meaningful experiences. So we designed all the trainings to be provide the knowledge, provide the information around learning progressions related to the different math areas and topics, but also to spend the majority of the time as a learner and as an explorer, just to highlight the importance of children having that direction and that autonomy over their learning, and to be able to be creative in math. It makes it more fun. It makes it's more engaging that way. And all early educators know it, so they definitely appreciate being able to explore that way. And here's just the type of learners who were in attendance. We had FFN providers, family, friend, and neighbors. We had family childcare homes, and we also had center teaching staff from both private faith-based and also the CSPP sites. And we have total attendees across professional learning sessions 1 and 2 was 122 educators. So we were very excited we had such a good turnout. our first session in February, we even had a family child care provider from Mariposa drive an hour each way to come to the session in person. So we were very excited that the motivation to continue learning and to continue implementing effective math practices in their programs, that people turned up and showed up, even though it's not necessarily convenient for them, they made the drive and the effort. So we were excited about that. I'll ask the team from Merced County if there was anything that they would like to add that I didn't touch on.
I think something they really appreciated, and I heard it in the other two presentations, they really like the hands-on activities. It helps them, but it also gives them like a clear understanding of what we're trying to do. So it's like a good model.
And I would just like to, my name is Rocio, and I would just like to add that the role play was a hit. It was great. They loved it. They learned how they could implement it in their centers. So it was a great experience. They got to see it and they got to practice it. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jackie. Cece.
Thank you, everyone. So that's it for us. That's all, folks.
Thank you so much, Mary and Jacqueline and Rocio. That sounds like a fantastic emphasis on, as you said, Mary, teachers as learners and experiencing that playful environment. Quite inspiring. Are there any questions or comments for Merced?
I just want to say that I was glad to hear the diverse selection of participants, even from private and faith-based.
Yep, thank you. Okay, well, again, I want to just give a very big shout out to these three agencies for preparing to share today and for sharing with us. Thank you so much. It was inspiring to hear all of the ways that you're taking this work. You're bringing your own energy and enthusiasm and expertise to it, which is powerful. And you're also connecting with your communities, the educators, families that you work with, and really making this this work just very meaningful in your own context. So thank you for that. We want to extend this opportunity to share a bit to all of you. So we're going to now move into breakout groups. In our breakout groups, we'll be sharing a bit about our own implementation plans so far. So I'll put in the chat a few questions and ideas. I'll share that slide now to kind of frame the conversations that we hope you will have in breakout groups. So thinking about the insights you've heard, how do these insights relate to your own implementation plans, what you've done so far, you're planning for the future? And you might share a bit about your plan. You might ask some more colleagues questions, share ideas, and you might have challenges that you want some advice on, or maybe opportunities that you would like to further. Your breakout groups will be around 3 or 4 agencies. So you each will have several minutes to just sort of circle around and share out a little bit and ask some questions and have some conversations very informally. So these will be our breakout rooms. We've combined breakout room 1 and 2. So that from there, one room, breakout room 1 and 2. And then we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is sort of where you'll be going. So we're going to open those rooms up now. We will take about 15 minutes or so to discuss in these rooms as a whole group final closing. So enjoy your small group conversations, and we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Welcome back, everyone. I think we're all getting back into the main room here. Thank you so much for engaging in these breakout conversations that we just had. So great to hear about the implementation that's happening, the questions, the comments, the insights, and also just the feeling that this is meaningful work. This is important work, and we're all in it together, continuing to learn from each other and learn with each other. Just a couple of final notes for everybody here. Our next session, please mark your calendars, will be session 6, which will be on June 27th from 9 to 11:30. If you would like some optional coaching support from the AIMS team, we have a link here, which is aimscenter.as.me, and there's a /KME-coaching. This is a spot where you can go to receive one-on-one coaching with your agency from our AIMS team, and we're excited to be able to offer that. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to learn alongside you about what's working, how we can grow together, how we can help prepare for a session that you're offering, and that sort of thing. So sign up for that. I want to also just open up for Naomi or Matilda. Any final closing thoughts from either of you? Want to provide a space for that?
Thanks. I do have a quick reminder. I sent out an email for those agencies who are participating in the Family and Community Extension. There's a survey to see everyone's availability so we can plan some additional webinars and community of practices to support that part of all this work. I'm throwing that in to the chat, and each individual participant needs to complete that. So if you haven't already, please do, so we can pick the dates and times that work best for the majority of participants. Also, I will be sending out those links after this meeting that I talked about today.
Thanks, Naomi. Okay, well, thank you, Chris, posting the coaching link in the chat. Thank you all for sharing today, for engaging, for learning together. And we are looking forward to seeing you at the next session or in between if we can. Hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the day, and thanks for joining today.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everyone.